Yes, people, and welcome back to Normski TV and the What's Going On podcast. So much to discuss, and obviously, not hoping, I will be having some friends on Kofi. I've sent out a link to a couple of people. They may come on, so we may have some couple of guests coming on as well, Kof. So I've got you in the back room. I will be introducing in a bit, but so much has happened this weekend. And first of all, just like to say thank you to everybody that subscribed to me. I'm 8 away from 200. And just to let you know, guys, I was on the Lee Gunner channel on Saturday, made my little debut on there on the fan cams. And mate, you know, Lee is a gentleman. Big up to Lee Gunner and what he's doing. And literally off the back of that, I've ended up with additional 20 odd subscribers, which should take me to 191. So if there's anybody out there today, please like, subscribe and share to the Normski TV and the What's Going On podcast. We've got so much planned for the new year. Myself and Kofi, one of my padrins, Liverpool supporter. It's his problem, but we'll have to deal with that. Obviously David, the Chelsea guy, is also part of the podcast. He may come on tonight, it might not be. He's got other business. Obviously, he's away or abroad in Dubai, so it's very difficult. It's like probably about 10:30 there now, so it is very difficult for him sometimes. But listen, if he does come on, he will show his face, and we have got a lot to say about David and his Thomas Tuchel team. I know Kofi's got a lot to say. So listen, without no further ado, I'm going to bring on Kofi. Here he is. Kofi, how you doing, brother?
I'm very well, sir. Very well. Usual. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You know, every week you come on now, your smile seems to be getting bigger. I wonder why that is.
Beaming, absolutely beaming. You know, a lot has been said over the last few weeks or so. And, you know, I just feel in a good place, and Liverpool in a good place at the moment. And the title race is well and truly on.
Yeah, well, listen, man, definitely. I mean, listen, it is definitely well and truly on. And as I say, listen, mate, you guys are in a very good position. We will talk about the games the weekend, but there's so much things to talk about. The Auba sacking, penalties galore, settings, and the Champions League draw. That's going to be interesting. You did get an easy draw. Now you've got Inter Milan. That's going to be interesting as well. But yeah, there's so much to talk about. And listen, where do we start? But listen, one of the things I was going to change the theme of this podcast. I wanted to change the theme of this podcast, and you're probably going to tell me, or I want you to guess why I'm changing the theme of this podcast. Travesty Weekend. That's what I'm calling it. Travesty Weekend. Why do you think I'm changing it to that, man? Come on, man. Listen, Travesty Weekend. Check what I'm saying.
You know, with Aubameyang going on.
Nope. Travesty Weekend. Come on, what's happened this weekend, which is a travesty? I'm going to ask you again, Kofi. What's happened this weekend? It's a travesty. Put it in the chat. There we go. Welcome to Kay, my sister. I Normski, your big sister here.
Yeah.
She guessed it.
You know what? Well done, Henry. Kay, well done.
Look, she just said it.
Yeah.
Kofi, talk to me before we discuss football.
You know what? Hamilton really should have
Hi
won
there.
that.
How you doing?
Hamilton really should have won the championship. The way it played out, actually, you know, there's some conspiracies going on, which, you know, very, very questionable. And you have to look at the bosses of the F1 and say to them, what is going on? What were they trying to do?
Kof, I was watching the race, mate. Yeah, I was watching the race, and I think there was about 8 laps to go. I know this, guys. I know this is not F1 podcast, but we got to talk about this. We cannot let this go. We cannot let this go. Now, I was watching that race on my phone, yeah, and I was thinking 8 laps to go, and I was like, you know what? The only thing, they kept saying that it's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle. Yes, Chile, how you doing? It was a sound decision. Super. You always have to get one. Yeah, this Tottenham supporter. You always have to get one, and it has to be Chile. Listen, Chile, I did send you the link. So I think Sawyer sent it to you, man. If you want to come on the show, you're welcome to come and put your views. Come and defend Verstappen. I don't know why you defended him, but then I guess you support Tottenham. So there you go. Latoya, welcome. They didn't want Aberdeen to make history. They didn't want Hamilton to make history. That's the bare facts, mate. That's the bare facts, brother. It's a travesty. As I said, I was watching the racing, 8 laps to go, and I was thinking the only thing that could go wrong, I was just saying, please, Lewis, you're 11, 12 seconds ahead. It's got loads of cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen. You know, he had to make up a lot of ground. Yeah, he had to make up a lot of ground. And, you know, when that crash happened, right, it happened between, I can't remember who the person who was that crashed out. They were in last place.
Yeah.
Come on, Kof, man.
The way the crash actually happened, you kind of thought to yourself, really? Was that really supposed to happen the way it did? And, you know, it just shows how flawed F1 is, and you know the people behind F1. So.
No, honestly, Kof. And then I don't follow racing as much as some other people that I know, yeah. And but looking at that race, the actual race, I don't know what they call them, the one that's in charge of the race. You know, he basically had to make a decision. All right, the safety car was in front, yeah. Nobody could pass the safety car. There was no overtaking. Yeah, there must have been at least 8 cars or 9 cars between when the crash happened between Hamilton. Kay saying, I'm not a racing fan, but something was not sitting right. Absolutely, totally agree with that. Was not sitting right. And I don't want to make this, you know, about F1 tonight, but I need to get it off my chest, man. I think we all need to get it off our chest. It just was not right. Yeah, and they said, you know, they couldn't pass the safety car. Now, what's so strange is they then allow 5 cars to now pass the safety cars. These are the ones that were Hamilton had lapped, okay? And then all of a sudden, Verstappen is next to him. So that means if there was 8 or 9 cars, that means he's overtaken those cars. Remember, they've only let through 5, and now Verstappen is right up against him. And then they've decided, right, now you race for that last lap. Verstappen has already gone and changed his tires, and you Lewis on the radio to Toto, the guy from Mercedes, said this ain't right. Something ain't right here. And even some of the drivers were saying, Twitter was off the charts. Yeah, Twitter was off the charts. I don't know when you was watching it. What was your thoughts as well, quickly?
Well, I was shocked that they actually allowed in even the Red Bull boss was actually making comment to the F1 bosses, asking for the cars to overtake quickly. And I was saying to myself, look, if he can say that, and for them to be in some sort of agreement, then obviously something is going on behind the scenes, you know.
Oh, Chile said again, saying it was right. It was right. Get over it. How many touches has Lewis to get him wins? I'm glad there was a bit of justice. Oh my God. I can't. He's got probably be the only. He's probably got to be the only Verstappen lover on this channel. You know, seriously, bro. Lewis had just correcting himself. I mean, nah, man. It just didn't sit right with me at all. And for me, I was talking to my brother-in-law, and I said like there was hardly any. I didn't see any like interviews with Verstappen. It was very low key. Yeah. I mean, if I was Verstappen, I was thinking, you know what? did I really win that race? Come on, man. Do you know what I mean?
I think definitely for those who really do know the rules of what actually takes place in such situations in F1, know that Hamilton should have won that race.
Yeah. Definitely was a hollow victory as far as I'm concerned. Listen, the guy is going to Windsor at the weekend to go and get knighted. So, sir, welcome, Sir Hamilton. Yeah. That's all we can do, man. Welcome, Sir Hamilton. I think maybe if he had won that race, that might have been his last, race in F1, and he would have gone out beating Schumacher's record of 7 victories. But he's equaled at the moment. But obviously he's gonna go out next year and go again. I think this time he's gonna go at it hard. I think all the drivers now, in terms of the cars now, they're all gonna be on level playing fields. But for me, Hamilton is the better driver. For him to stay on those wheels, on those tires, for the best part of that race on Sunday, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? You can't beat that. I see why people question it, but trust me, Lewis had more things go his way than any other drivers. Facts. Okay. Well, there you got his lawyer there backing him. He's got his lawyer there backing him. Well, listen, it is what it is. For me, it's been a hollow victory and literally not happy about it. But listen, let's move on. There's a lot to discuss. And one of the first things I want to discuss, I mean, we're gonna have to talk about Aubameyang. Auba getting sacked from the captaincy. Boy, oh boy. When I saw it breaking this morning, and like all the other channels started to talk about it, and I thought, well, listen, because obviously this wasn't going to be part. I mean, I would have probably talked about the fact that he got dropped from the game against Southampton, but didn't realize it was going to come to this point. And then there was a lot of rumors going around that he had missed training. He had missed training purposely. He went and got tattoos, and he was sort of, showing it over social media and stuff like that. You heard all sorts of different stories. But apparently he was allowed to get leave, go abroad to see his mum who's not well, and I think bring her back over. Now, my understanding of it is that when he came back over, he wasn't late for training. The day that he was supposed to come, he came back a day late, but didn't miss training. But you know how the media like to manipulate news and stuff like that. So he's ended up having the captaincy stripped from him. Not only that, he's going to tomorrow's game that we are playing at the Emirates against West Ham, which is going to be a really tough game. What are your thoughts on it, Kofi? I mean, one, that promo thing that he did with Ian Wright after signing that £350,000 deal, he said, I want to be a legend. Legend no more is, you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on Aubameyang? Is he, there was talk about when he came from Dortmund that he was going to bring a lot of baggage with him. And a lot of people say, nah, that ain't going to happen. But here we see on and off the field, not really setting an example. Is he captain material? That is the question I'm asking you. What are your thoughts, Kof?
To be honest, I've never thought of Aubameyang to be captain material. Even when he was playing at Dortmund, he's fantastic as he was a striker at Dortmund, and he's had a lot of ups and downs with Arsenal and everything that the sagas that have continually been associated with him. I don't see him as a captain or a leader. He doesn't.
I think he's more of a player that does his talking with his football. Now, when he came to Arsenal, the first 2 seasons, absolutely fantastic. Then under Arteta winning the FA Cup, we talk about him being our talisman. So in terms of leading, he's not a natural leader. I don't get that impression from him. When the tough gets going, I don't see him in there pulling the troops together. You know what I mean? He's not that kind of player, not that kind of Patrick Vieira type player, like Henry, Bergkamp, those sort of, those players back then in those days, we had 11 leaders. It's very hard now today to find one really competent leader. Granit Xhaka stripped of his captaincy. Dave sent me a list of all the captains that we had since 2007. Gallas, Koscielny, going on strike. Who else was there? Vermaelen, good all the time. Van Persie, Fabregas going off to Barcelona. Van Persie going off to United to win more, trophies. It doesn't read well. Then the Granit Xhaka, chucking down his armband in the game that was under Unai Emery. But yet he comes back in, he gets a bly, and he's playing again. And my worry is who's going to end up getting this armband. And I mean, looking at the players that you see in our team, Kofi, who do you think, who do you see in that team, from what you've seen, should get that armband? Because obviously now it's been stripped from Aubameyang. And just before I sort of get your answer, let me just read a statement coming from Sky, and obviously, Arsenal have put this statement out, and basically it says, Aubameyang was not in Arsenal's squad to face Southampton over breach of discipline. We expect. Hold on a second. I will read those messages in a minute. I'm just going to read it and I'll put those chats up. It goes, Aubameyang was not in Arsenal's squad to face Southampton over breach of discipline. We expect all our players, particularly our captain, to work to the rules and standards we have all set and agreed. The club said Arsenal faced West Ham on Wednesday, and the forward will not take no part in it. Aubameyang was left out the squad Saturday's match against Southampton, and Arsenal confirmed the decision to remove the forward as captain on Tuesday. The club has also said that Aubameyang will not be available for selection against West Ham on Wednesday. We expect all our players, particularly our captain, to work to the rules and standards. I'm basically reading the same thing again. Yeah, and here we are. Do you know what I mean? Let me just go to the chat. Yeah, Leon Brown, welcome, Leon. How you doing, boy? Ramsdale, Leon's making a suggestion of Ramsdale. That's a good call. Let me just go here. I don't believe strikers should be captain. It should be a defender or midfielder. I absolutely agree with you on that, Chile. I also don't think the best stroke, most popular player should ultimately be captain. So we're not, yeah. And I think that the way this captaincy is being handed out with Arsenal, I just think that they went to Aubameyang and just said, well, he seems popular amongst the fans. Let's give it to him. But when the tough gets going, he needs to be there, and I don't see that from you. And as you rightly said, you don't really see that from him. So yeah, you're gonna finish off what you was saying as well.
Yeah, I don't know whether the pressure should be put on Ramsdale to be captain, to be honest. I mean, he's done incredibly well so far, coming in as the goalkeeper, and, he's really putting in a massive shift in performances for Arsenal this season. And I don't know whether too much pressure should be put on Ramsdale taking up the leadership as captain, because things can happen very quickly, and if things don't happen in the right way for Ramsdale, and the pressure does get piled on him, it's going to be very difficult for him to come back from that as well.
Yeah,
as a young player.
Yeah, I mean, Ramsdale, he's becoming like a fan's favourite. He could end up being a cult hero at Arsenal. I mean, some of the things that he does, I mean, he's loving his life at Arsenal, and the fans are loving him. And based on what Chile said, that, it's not about, we could give it to him because he's popular and we like the way he's carrying on. But when things start to go a little bit, then, the fans can easily turn quick. You want somebody that's going to be consistent. So there's Ramsdale. Who else is there that you've seen in that side that could possibly maybe take on that?
Well, it's very difficult to say, because there are a lot of young players in that Arsenal side. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I mean, okay, let me just give you some names here. Kieran Tierney, left back. You got Kieran Tierney, come from Celtics, won a load of medals and you know, he's done really well at Celtic, and I think he was captain at Celtic as well. He's young, 23, but you know, he leads it by example on and off the field. You know, he's not there going and rapping his you know, his Ford Lexus or, or Mini. You know, Aubameyang, every minute you're seeing him getting his car wrapped every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm not begrudging him with that, but you know, I think too much of that social media and seeing that side of Aubameyang, you know, I want to see that on the pitch. I mean, listen, he's only scored 4 goals in 14. Not good enough. Some people want to blame it on the fact that, you know, the money, but I don't think he's, well, some people might say he's down tools. I don't know. Tom, welcome to the chat, mate. Tom is saying Giza had history at Dortmund. He also says bad attitude, the man meant to be a captain. You know, and I think he was given that captaincy armband based on the fact that he was popular with fans. But you've got Kieran Tierney, Lacazette, possibly. But look, he's looking to leave the club. You know, he's going to be talking. He's going to start talking to other clubs in January. Do you give it to him, Gabriel Mangalese, the defender, centre back? I wouldn't give it to Granit Xhaka.
No.
Yeah, Leon's saying honestly, the squad doesn't have any leaders in it, and I've got to absolutely agree with him. We don't have any leaders. Not the Arsenal that I knew. You know, the days when, you know, Vieira and Keane used to square up to each other. You know, those were real leaders. You know, Petit, Vieira. Do you know what I mean? All of them. You know, Keown, Tony Adams. You know, even like the front Bergkamp, he had a nasty streak in him. Do you know what I mean? But they were all leaders in their own right.
If Saka was an older version of himself, I would have given it to him. But he's still relatively young, and he's you know, doing very well in currently his trade, and you know, he needs probably another season or so to really put himself out there as candidate for captain. But probably Tierney right now looks probably more obvious. Yeah,
probably the most obvious.
Yeah,
I would probably agree with you on that. But they need to get it sorted out and get it sorted out quick. You know, we're going into a game tomorrow, you know, with this hanging over our heads. It may, you know, it may galvanize us in the game. It may not, you know, with all that's going on and off the pitch. Do you think the way Arteta's, what do you think of Arteta's man management skill?
You know what? It's very difficult when you're coming in and you have to try to galvanize a team where the older players, they're not really supporting you. And
do you get the impression that some of the older players don't respect him?
Because definitely. I feel that, you know, they probably see him as he's just one of their guys who, you know, just recently just finished playing football, and you know, you want to come and step in and be a manager at such a big club as Arsenal, and it's not easy to manage such a dressing room. And you know, I mean, he's got probably the backing of the younger players, but the younger players are also being swayed by some of the older players in the team as well. So
yeah. And I think with him having the captaincy stripped from him, my worry is that there could be a siege cult mentality, you know, where you know, Aubameyang will probably get players to maybe side with him. And it's not really good for the youngsters because he needs to be leading from example. Yeah. There must have been something that has really gone down, that it's actually come to this point where they've had to literally, you know, brave mate, good on him for that. Takes balls. I think that's what he's trying to say, bro. Yeah, it does to do that. You know, guts. It does take that to do that. But some people, you know, look at Arteta. I think when he came in, you know, you got some people look at him as an arrogant manager. maybe airing his dirty laundry out too often, because now this is the second time this has happened with Aubameyang. Remember the North London derby? He was late for the bus or whatever. He was stripped for that as well. And it's not good. It doesn't look good from the outside. And normally Arsenal, we're known as this classy club, and we tend to keep everything inside. And now too many things are creeping out, and I think Arteta's sort of, how can I put it, his personality probably doesn't rub well with some of the players in there.
Yeah,
probably more say the older players like Lacazette. I mean, the way he's treating Pepe at the moment. I mean, the guy, if you saw his face, he came on. I think he had 8 minutes of football. His face was like thunder. Do you know what I mean? And I don't even think Arteta even spoke to him. I think he might have just told his assistant just to tell him to come on. Didn't really have a word with him, tell him what he wanted to do. And you could see, I mean, Pepe, we paid £72 million for this player, and he's just not getting a look in. I bet he can't wait to get away to the AFCON Cup of Nations. You know what I mean? For a lot of them, they probably can't wait to get away. But yeah, it's 50-50. A lot of the fans have split on this. Some have said Arteta's done the right thing, and others feel that he's thrown his ex-captain now under the bus. You know what I mean? I mean, I suppose the question, have you had any sort of kind of situation with that in Liverpool? Or is it that you get the likes of Henderson, who's I would have him as just the way he is as a captain, his mentality and the way he galvanizes the team. I mean, there was one time, right? He's not, I would say, a gifted footballer, but what he brings to the team is leadership. And the time when he was out for a little while, you guys went on a little dip. This was last season, I think it was, and they really did miss his leadership.
There was a point in time where even he said he wasn't sure whether his future at Liverpool was going to be stable, and Liverpool were willing to let it go to Fulham at that point in time. Sorry,
Fulham.
Yeah. I think Liverpool had in mind to offload Henderson at the time. And
what, you talking about last season?
No, not last season. I mean, this was before he took captaincy.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then he developed himself into the role, and obviously he's got better and better. So right now he is the man that you would really look to galvanize the players to push on, and he's really stepped into that role very well. And the players,
you've also got Virgil van Dijk as well.
Yeah, Virgil,
another kind of leader. I'd say strong leader there.
Throughout the spine of the team, there's leaders throughout that the whole club, and Robertson has a good shout at
definitely
teammates when things are not going right, or there's a little bit of frustration in some games. So we have leaders throughout the team, and definitely Henderson has come a long way as captain of Liverpool.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, but listen, this whole Aubameyang situation is going to rumble on. How it's going to affect the team going forward, they really need to hurry up and because there's going to be a lot of speculation who is going to be the captain. I mean, I know there was this thing where when under Unai Emery, they had about 5 or 6 captains. You know what I mean? And I don't know whether Arteta had adopted the same principle when he took over. But I think Robert Holding was named as a captain. Robert Holding, obviously, who else was there? I don't even know if Kieran Tierney was in there. I know definitely Lacazette. I'm trying to think who else. And that's the problem. I'm struggling. You know what I mean? I'm struggling to find a leader. But I think that they need to move on this really quick. I would go for Kieran Tierney, but they may possibly give it to Lacazette. Now, the question is, and put it in the chat, guys, do you think that do you think that Aubameyang is this his last game for Arsenal? Do you think he's played his last game for Arsenal, or do you think that he's gonna knuckle down? Maybe having the captaincy was probably weighing on him a lot. You can just see by his form at the moment, he ain't doing really well in the scoring department. Only scoring 4 goals in 14, not good enough for a striker that's on £350,000 a week. The problem is there are clubs linked with him, namely Barcelona. Now they could come in for him. Now the thing is, can they afford it? Can they afford his £350,000 a week wages? He's got 18 months left on his contract. And we could have another Ozil situation. And why I say that is because, Ozil pretty much just sat on the bench and was ostracized by Mikel Arteta. Could this happen with Aubameyang? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Do you think that we should just get rid if we can? The problem is that what teams are going to be able to afford him? Now, there's probably one team that probably could afford his wages, and I'll probably take about 20 mil for him, 25 mil, and that's Newcastle. Because right now, Cole, what are your thoughts on Newcastle, mate? Because listen, they're the richest club in the world, but they ain't doing too good right now. Getting another drubbing of 4-0, and that'll take us nicely into our weekend games. That's just gone 4-0 against Leicester. What do you think the owners must be thinking? I mean, they need defenders. They need people that can score goals. Maybe, Aubameyang could probably go there and, they can offload. We can offload him, get 20, 25 mil and take on his £350,000 week wages. Because I'll tell you this now, he ain't gonna, he could easily say, yeah, but I want the money that I'm getting at Arsenal. It's whether clubs are going to be prepared to pay that sort of money. What do you think?
It's a nightmare situation for the owners at Newcastle. They must have seen, how deep the cracks really were before they decided to take on the enormity of the task of investing in such a big club. Yeah. The cracks have been developing for years, and Mike Ashley really run his position as owner into the ground. And, you could tell that he was not really interested. He's tried many attempts to sell the club. Yeah. And, they're just not good enough to probably hold their position in the Premier League.
Listen, they got. I think they played the last game that they won. I think it was. If somebody could just let me know, I think it was Burnley. They beat. I think at home. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be another team. I think they won that game 2-1. Actually, let me check. Sorry, it was 1-0 actually. They beat Burnley 1-0 at home, which was, for them, it was a fantastic win.
Listen, they're coming to Anfield on Thursday, so it could be one of those drubbings.
No mercy from Klopp and Salah. No mercy.
Yeah. Christmas spirit hotting up.
Yeah, and they lose. As I said, they lose 4-0 against Leicester. But yeah, Tom said of the weight of the armband gets him scoring. Let's see what happens if big money comes later. So what Tom is essentially saying is that, maybe not having the armband, it might, but it's probably, I suppose the question is will he get another game? That's the big question. How is this all going to all unfold, in the coming future? How will it all unfold? That's the interesting.
You know what? Aubameyang needs to humble himself and knuckle down. It's going to take... It's going to be difficult to get rid of him in January when Arsenal need goals. Arsenal will need goals.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
Arsenal don't want to be put in that stuck between a rock and a hard place situation, which, they are in at the moment in terms of, the situation with Aubameyang. And they kind of need to make a big decision, in what they want to do for the foreseeable future and see how it pans out.
Really. Yeah. Well, listen, we'll see what happens there. The Aubameyang situation rolls on. Hopefully tomorrow, it won't affect us as we play West Ham at home. We had a nice win against Southampton on Saturday, winning 3-0. And really, I was happy, especially with the second half. I think first half, it was the same old. Even though we scored 2 goals in the first half, for the first 20, 25 minutes, I just like thinking, because it looked like if anybody was going to score first was Southampton. But there was a move from the back. I don't know if you saw the build-up play. And it's a typical thing. They allow teams to come onto them. The ball was played from Ramsey, and he nearly got caught out because playing out from the back is dangerous. And you can only do that against certain teams. And, Southampton is known as a pressing team, you know what I mean? So he managed to weave himself out of that, get that ball out to Ben White to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu then, I think, plays it out. I think he plays it to, I can't remember who was the person. He played to a midfield player, and then it came back to him, played it down the line to Saka. And then, Saka, went down the line, crossed it in, and, Lacazette on the end of it.
I think it was about six or 7 passes before.
Yeah. But it was the pace at which they got the ball from back to front, which was nice. But it's nice, but it's just they keep doing it all the time, and you know what I mean. And you can see their pattern of playing, and they will get worked out. That's my problem. They need to just mix it up a little bit, because that's what tends to happen. They take a long time to move the ball out from back to front. That one was fortunate. Then we get the goal from Odegaard again, scoring now. So that's 3 games in a row now that he's scored. Again, the fans are 50-50 split on him in terms of whether they like him as a player. He's captain of the Norwegian side. Maybe he's captain of the Norwegian side. Maybe he's a candidate for our Arsenal captain. But he scored his 3rd goal, first headed goal as well. And it came from a ball that Tomiyasu crossed into Kieran Tierney, and Kieran Tierney went to hit it volley first time, but miskicked it. But it sent the right back, and then it kind of came back to Kieran Tierney. And I think it ricocheted off him, and Kieran Tierney headed it back into the danger area, and Odegaard nods it away. Lovely, jubbly 2-0. We go in at 2-0. Second half, we came out a bit more verb, and we get our 3rd goal from a set piece, Gabriel, and congratulations to him. He's expecting his first baby, I think. So congratulations to him. Scores his 3rd goal. He tucks the ball up his stomach and gives it all of that, and he scores the 3rd goal. And literally, we hit the post, I think, twice from Martinelli and Saka, and that, but Southampton just really didn't turn up second half, so I'm really pleased with that. But it was penalties galore weekend. Yeah. This week was penalty. I mean, I think 5 games were won by penalties.
Oh wow!
5 games. 5 games were won by penalties. Geezer just going over shot. Oh, okay. Back in 5. Man's going to get himself a beer. He'll be back in 5. 5 goals, 5 penalties over the weekend. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, and Brentford.
Wow.
So let's start with the Man City game. Now, there was some controversy here with the Man City penalty. I think it was Moutinho that it was given against. The other thing as well is Man City found it really hard to break them down, even though they went down to 10 men. Jimenez, don't know what he was doing. Decided that he fouls the player. He's told to step back, and he decides to block the player and get sent off. I mean, listen, man, you can't do that at Man City. But Man City did struggle to break them down. They then get a penalty, which was highly dubious because I'm looking at, there was only one angle that they could see where the ball had hit Moutinho, and I think it hit him here. But the VAR and the referee, as far as they're concerned, there was only one angle. I don't know if you saw it, but it definitely wasn't a penalty.
It's very difficult because you know what? Because the hand is in it's not a natural position.
Yeah, but he's gone.
Yeah, but his hand is up here. His hand is at this angle.
And but is your hand? Is that his hand? There's his hand.
No, but it's part of the hand. Like
the rules state
the ball hit more part of the hand than it did the armpit.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. So, what was you watching?
No, honestly, I mean, I saw it in slow motion as well. I saw it in slow motion in some of the other videos on YouTube. And, you know, it was more part of the arm than it was here.
So where did you say the ball hit then?
I said here. It was like half between the bicep.
Okay,
but when you hit half between the bicep and this area here, you've gotta actually call it the arm.
But there's this ruling about the fact that if it's below the sleeve, then it's definitely on ball.
Yeah, but obviously below the sleeve. But the thing is,
look, I've got a t-shirt on. Yeah. The ball hit up here, not here.
Yeah, but look, you pulled the t-shirt. Come on, Doms. You pulled the t-shirt. Look, as long as this is arm. From here to here is arm.
Oh, the Kofi, what was you watching? That didn't touch any part of his arm. Thank you, Latoya. Yeah, it did not touch any part of his arm. Yeah, and there was only one angle they could see. And as far as the referee was concerned, VAR, they gave it.
Well, you know, I have my views. You have your views. So,
well, the chat don't agree with you, bro. So listen, okay. We go to the Liverpool game. Probably straightforward. Some people call it a bit of a soft penalty on Mo Salah. What do you think?
Yeah, it was clear cut, but you know, on another day it could have been a soft one. You know, it was. I felt that Mings didn't really get goal side of Salah, and you know, Salah did what he had to do to.
I mean, if you touch a hair on his leg, he's going to go down, isn't he?
He had to do what he had to do. So
what are you ignoring me for?
He had to do what he had to do. So.
Liverpool.
But at the end of the day, listen, you know, it's at Anfield, and you know they're going to have to make big calls. On
what was the reception like for your old boy coming back?
Yeah, fantastic reception for him. You know, but obviously he knew that it was going to be a game where, listen, sentiment goes out the window at some point.
I heard he was quite emotional, you know, and that.
But he was controlled. I mean, he was, you know, you can definitely see he's got very good character to be a fantastic manager, and
one for the future.
Even in his interviews later on. You know, he's definitely got grounded knowledge, and you know, you can definitely see that he's going to have a fantastic future in the Premiership as a manager, potentially for Liverpool in the future as well. Yeah. So
Klopp has said that, hasn't he? So, and you would be happy in what, the next 2 or 3 years for him to take over?
See, everybody's saying this next 2 or 3 years, but. You know, I've seen past Liverpool managers taking over the clubs and they failed to deliver. But I want him to build his trade, win something with Villa, and then we can definitely see potential. I'm not going to say next 2 or 3 years.
You sound like the ball.
But the problem is that Klopp definitely will probably be leaving in 24.
Whoa.
And if the board not willing to support him and allow him to buy the players that he wants to buy, he's going to get fed up.
Question for you. which is obviously Liverpool related, and going back to Man City, I forgot to say Sterling scoring his 100th goal, Premier League goal. Well done, Sterling. Well done. Albeit controversial, but he's done it. Funny enough, Latoya asked me this question earlier on today, and I think she wanted to find out is whether you would take Sterling back at Liverpool.
Yeah, I've thought about. You know what? I thought about this question.
It looked like you got a bad taste in your mouth there. You know? Like you're falling. It's like,
you know, he left the red to go and join the blue, and you know, I just not really homegrown, but he spent most of his youth in Liverpool football club, so he probably does deserve another chance in Liverpool.
Wow.
And I think, you know, he did a lot of good.
I mean, he gets some abuse when he comes there when he's playing for Man City, though.
Yeah, I know. But it's just the way that, you know, he actually decided to leave and everything like that. But, you know, if he comes back and, you know, he has a good run within the team, it'll be all forgotten.
Okay, so you'll definitely take him back.
But it's whether Liverpool club would pay the money.
Exactly, because he's on some mad money, isn't he?
Yeah. So that's another issue.
Hi, Calvin. How you doing, brother? Sterling didn't handle his Liverpool exit well. Don't burn your bridges. That's the statement from Calvin there. Yeah. Do you want to sort of rethink back what he did, Kof, and have a little rethink about that?
You know, the thing is, it came at a point where Liverpool were at the crossroads as well. And, you know, Brendan Rodgers had a season where, you know, Liverpool potentially should have won the title, but they didn't. And
was it a Gerrard slip?
Yeah, we all know about that Gerrard slip. And unfortunately, you know, it was, you know, the downfall for Liverpool not winning the title.
And Brendan losing his job. Listen, he got you in a good manager, slipping over like that.
Stop it. But at the end of the day, you know, Sterling left knowing that he probably saw a brighter future at Manchester City with Pep coming in, and he thought, let me take my chance because I'm never going to have a better chance to, you know.
I mean, there's still talk of, you know, even though he's been doing quite well in the last couple of games, because there was talk about him possibly leaving the club, and he was linked with clubs abroad. But is his wages, you know what I mean? Even he was linked with Arsenal as well. But do you know what I mean? I can't see that happen. He's going to want, you know, Europe, and we haven't got that at the moment. So it is what it is. But yeah, so you would definitely take him back if something was to develop.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's a fantastic player. You can't deny that Sterling doesn't add something to your team, and you know, it would definitely give Liverpool an extra addition of power up front. And
just 2 seconds, yeah. I've got the missus ringing me.
Oh.
You can't get the staff. Yeah, the missus just giving me a call about something else. Sorry, my fault. What was we talking about just there, Sterling? Yeah.
So we were just finishing up on Sterling. Yeah, definitely. I think his quality is there to be seen. You know, he will add something extra for Liverpool that we probably are missing, or probably could do with an extra bolster in that position. So He's very talented. He's very
Okay.
talented.
Well, let's move on quickly to Chelsea. Your favorite subject. We're gonna be quick on this. We've got about another 10-15 minutes of this stream. Now listen, Chelsea winning the game 3-2, getting a last minute penalty in injury time. I think it was Rudiger that got pulled down, or I don't know what happened, but basically they're saying that it was a very soft penalty, and the Leeds players were not happy. And I know there's been history between Leeds and Chelsea, but just quickly, Kofi, a minute and a half. Just give me your thoughts on Chelsea, the thoughts on David Tuchel, Thomas, whatever you want to call the brother, who seems like he keeps ducking out on these podcasts. Yeah, he must be ashamed to put his face on it. I hope he sees this when I push this on him. Now, what is your thoughts on Chelsea? Are the wheels definitely starting to come off?
They're not coming off. They're well and truly in the title race, and one slip up from any of the teams means that the other team has advantage. So I said this to David that no championship is won in the early part of a season, and we all know that David was just getting a little bit too ahead of himself, and we said it a few times just to cool down, chill a little bit. It's a long season, and the race isn't won at the start, and we definitely have enthralling title race, which it's going to have a lot more twists and turns. And
I mean, since that conversation about a month and a half ago, where David really spoke with his chest about the fact that they're champions elect and that they have only conceded 3 goals. Do you just want to give me some facts and stats, please, Kofi, please, just to enlighten me, please?
Yeah, well, he did say that they don't really concede goals, and I think at that stage Chelsea were on 3 goals conceded, and if you can remind me, how many goals have they got conceded right now?
11.
Wow, you see the turnaround, brother. I hope you're hearing this. You see that turnaround. Please don't come and start talking about who's conceding goals and leaking at the back. Chelsea looking a little bit vulnerable right now.
Sorry. We shouldn't do this without David here. It's unfair.
I know, but you've just you've opened up the wounds a little bit. Just
Well, you did call him out on Insta, so you know what I'm saying. But yeah, listen, they get that last minute penalty. A lot of Leeds players felt it was very soft. Rudiger gets taken down, I think, in the box, and they go on. Jorginho with his special run up makes it 3-2. But yeah, they are conceding alarmingly, and they haven't been doing too well even like, obviously they played the last Champions League group stage, and I think they lost that game. Albeit that they did field a younger side.
The thing is that they do miss Chilwell, and they do miss Kante, important definitely. Figures within the team. Yeah, and until they come back, the side is going to look a little bit. They're going to have issues in midfield and defensively. Yeah. So how do they?
There's also talk of Lukaku as well. He's obviously been out injured. He's back in the side now. I'm hearing also a lot of like murmurs with regards to whether Lukaku's kind of messed up their system of play. You know what I mean? He hasn't scored since, I'm trying to think of the game when the last time he scored. Looks like he's wearing his Timberland boots at the moment.
Listen, 90 million waste of money, mate.
Listen, on that note, we move on. Man United. Listen, again under Ragnick, they win against bottom side Norwich 1-0. To be honest, I watched that game. It looked like Norwich were the ones that were doing all the pressing. Hold on a second here. What's Calvin saying again? To be honest, Chelsea's holding on to Timo Werner too long, but they're still part of the three-horse race for the Premier League title. Just quick, Timo Werner is good enough, but Chelsea is in the three-horse race for the Prem title. Timo, not good enough. Thank you for that, Calvin. Man United, as I said, listen, they found it difficult to break down Norwich. I'm not still seeing this Gen press from the Man U side at the moment. It looked like the guy had to keep him out a few times. He was the one that was working much harder. I think he got man of the match as well. Obviously, Ronaldo gets the penalty, scores again. Listen, it's going to be an interesting next couple of months. I mean, will they buy in January? But I'm not seeing anything yet that's convinced me about Man United at the moment in terms of they're struggling. I'm just not seeing it, you know.
Well, I mean, to be honest, United, it depends on how the attitude of the boys now. Obviously, they've had 2 wins at the moment, and can they continue to grow and get more wins under the new manager? So, you know, this Christmas period is going to be interesting for them as well. And, you know, let's see where, you know, this takes them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of the Man United fans are gassed about, you know, the new manager and this whole pressing thing, but I've yet to see that. And I think even Gary Neville was saying that you could see old habits creeping back in, you know, and against a better side, a side that presses and take their chances. Because if Norwich had taken their chances, they would have probably won that game, maybe, I don't know, 2-1, 2-0. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. They go on again. That's 2 wins out of 2 for Ragnick, and they move on. Do you know what I mean? Brentford, again, penalty against Watford. Watford scored first, and Brentford equalised, and then the guy that scored the penalty, I think, is Bermudo, if I can pronounce his name right. He, Mbomo. He scored a penalty in the 96th minute. So
yeah,
that was a
calmly taken penalty, I must say. Very calmly taken.
Very calm. Yeah, very. I mean, they're missing their striker. I can't remember his name now. What's his striker's name? For he takes all their penalties. I can't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about, the one with the dreads. He's obviously injured at the moment, currently injured at the moment. So it looks like my man is taking over sort of penalty duties and playing up front. But yeah, we move on quickly. The last sort of bit I want to talk about is the Champions League quickly. And your thoughts on the draw and what happened there, and the fact that you was drawn against Salzburg. Now that's taken away from you. Now you're playing against Inter Milan. Real Madrid face PSG. They were originally going to play Man U. Man U now facing Atletico Madrid. Chelsea ended up still getting Lille. Man City getting Benfica. How do you rate your chances against Inter Milan over 2 legs?
Tough game, but you know, I think we've got the artillery to beat them, and yeah, it's going to be definitely a tough last 16 for some of the teams. Other teams probably a little bit more easier. I probably would have preferred Salzburg, but it is what it is, and you know, a little mess up in the draw didn't help, but what can you say? It's knockout stages, and
Yeah.
you know, we have to get rid of Inter Milan.
Yeah. So I just touched my mic there and it went off. So just going with who else was there? Man United against Atletico.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Tough game. I don't think United at this stage. You never know. Things might change around in when do they come back into Champions League? Is it February?
February. The first game, I think 15th and 16th that week. But the AFCON finishes the 6th of February.
Yeah.
So you can have some players that might be a little bit jaded coming back from that. And if like Mo Salah sort of goes all the way, Mane or Sane, is it Mane? Mane, isn't it? Yeah,
Mane,
goes all the way. That's going to be interesting as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to be playing a lot of games over that period from January through to the 6th or when the tournament finishes. So that's going to be interesting. So Man U against Atletico, they're fourth in their league, La Liga at the moment. Atletico have not been playing at their best, but they always seem to find a way to win.
Yeah, they're a very tough team to play against, and depending on what Man U team turn up in that game, and depending on their form leading into the game, you never know. It's just going to be a difficult two-legged affair, and we will probably see. It's going to be a tight scoreline. I think it could be maybe a 1-goal win.
Which way though?
On either side.
Which way though? Which are you sitting on the fence at the moment? You're sitting on the fence, aren't you?
Yeah, I am sitting on the fence because I'm not a Man U supporter, but Ronaldo's always turning up in the big games in the Champions League. It seems he's made for Champions League, so probably United might edge it.
Okay, so you're going with Man United. What about Man City quickly? Benfica?
Yeah, Man City.
Man City.
Definitely edge.
Chelsea against Lille?
Yeah, Chelsea will look comfortable to come through. I should think so. If they don't, but
so by the sounds of it, from what you're saying, is that all the English teams are going to get through.
Yeah, I think.
So
what would happen?
That's really good. Yeah,
I think what would happen is that they probably will get paired up against each other in the quarterfinals, and I could possibly
who would you
Liverpool game. I can possibly see a Chelsea Liverpool game.
I was going to ask you, mate. That would be great. I'll definitely be doing a watch along with that one. That would be definitely interesting.
I'm not saying anything. Obviously, we have to get through our last 16 times into Milan. Still going to be another difficult game in the San Siro, and hopefully we will get a away win and do the job at Anfield.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to come down quickly. Just want to get your thoughts on with the COVID situation and the fixture pile up. You got tonight, Man United was meant to play Brentford. That's been called off. Tottenham's game against Brighton was postponed. Don't know whether they're going to go ahead with the game on Thursday against, I think they're Leicester away. There's a number of their players out. Do you think there's a chance that we could have a bit of a fixture pile up during Christmas? I know the Brentford game, I think they've postponed it till the new year. But this doesn't really help teams and this whole situation now. I think they've said like 45 cases now like that has been reported, which has been one of the highest in terms of rise and that. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we could end up where we're seeing teams playing behind closed doors again, no fans there? I mean, I would not want to see that. I mean,
that'll be a very, very difficult situation for everybody to experience again. And we have to really take a lot more, precautions and, just to prevent this Omicron variant from continuing to sweep through sports and the Premier League. But it's going to be a very difficult period for a lot of clubs. Yeah. I know we face Tottenham on the weekend as well, so they have a few players who have COVID.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, at the moment, I think the game is going ahead with Tottenham and Leicester. I would think that's happening because I've not heard anything different. But as I said, the cases seem to be rising all the time. So, we just have to just watch this space and see what happens concerning that. But there is a possibility that if the cases start to rise, the protocols that, the Premier League and the clubs are taking, they're taking it very seriously, which I get it. It's important because at the end of the day, it's lives that matter, health that matter. So, we can't take it for granted. Just in closing, just want to just get your prediction for the games coming up this week. You play Newcastle at home.
Yeah.
What score are you talking?
4-0.
Oh yeah, okay. Chelsea play Everton at home this Thursday.
Ooh.
Everton just lost to Crystal Palace 3-1. So
I think Chelsea are probably going to have a little bit more of a comfortable win.
Yeah.
Probably a 3-1.
Yeah, and then Arsenal West Ham without our talisman.
Ooh, Arsenal at home.
Yeah, we're at home tomorrow.
Draw.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. My heart is saying 2-1, but my head is saying a draw. Do you know what I mean? But if we do beat West Ham tomorrow, we go above them. They're currently on 28 points. We're on 26. And with the fact that, Tottenham have got 2 games in hand, and also Man United would obviously have a game in hand, but we would move into 4th position. So let's see what happens. But Kofi, I'd like to say again, thank you very much for joining me this evening. I want to thank all those people that subscribed to me over the weekend. Again, just to let you know, I was on Lee Gunner's channel, and it was enjoyable. Couple of minutes there spending on the man himself, Lee Gunner, the guy who is Arteta out 100%. And I had the pleasure of getting on his channel, and just want to thank those that are subscribed to the channel. I'm now 8 away from 200. So if you know anybody out there that has not subscribed to this channel, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you on the next podcast. But listen, I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for taking part and contributing this evening. It's been a pleasure. Kofi, it's been a pleasure. Dave, again, didn't make it, but listen, I'm sure he will get on hopefully next week. We'll see what the fixtures throw up next week. We'll see what comes out in the newspapers. We just don't know what's going to throw up. Football changes very quickly. So we'll see what happens. But again, Kofi, thank you very much for coming on the show this evening. And we'll see you no problem on the next podcast, the What's Going On podcast. Listen, guys, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Take care.